Ladies and gentlemen, the following is scheduled for one fall. It is time for That Way Cool Wrestling Show!
Hey everybody, welcome to That Way Cool Wrestling Show. My name is Danny J. Right here on the DJB Productions Network, hit the subscribe button down below, hit the notification bell, leave us some comments. And as always, subscribe, and share the channel. Make sure everybody out there is checking it out. Of course, I am here with some of my compadres. I have Mad Mark Lindsay jumping up here. And then my main man, Gemini, Charles Gregory.
What's up, everybody?
As he eats. Guys, we have such a great show. We haven't been on a little bit of a while, but we have a lot of great stuff here on the channel. Let's first say, Rusty, go to my man Rusty. Get rowdy with Rusty. Rusty Loudermilk, host of That Way Cool Wrestling Show Breakout, which is the weekly show coming out in the network every week. We have a new episode up right now as we're recording. So check it out. He gives you the week in review. Nice little short, condensed little thing. And we're going to have Rusty on this show as well in a couple of episodes coming up, that type of thing. But we haven't been on in a while. I wanted to jump on with my main men here because this is the show that started it all. And we're in such a unique era of professional wrestling right now. As you can see, the title down below is the COVID-19 era. Forget about all the other eras in professional wrestling. This is the one we're in right now. And it's kind of interesting, and we're going to talk about that today. First of all, guys, how's everybody doing from their home studios?
I've been better.
Okay, there you go.
They're driving me nuts, man.
There we go.
Driving me nuts.
And here's the funny thing, too.
It's hard to close parks from home, so.
Yeah.
Actually, I got to go out tomorrow. They keep ripping down everything we put up, so now we got to chain and take everything down. So it's going to be a nice day tomorrow.
Well, guess what? I mean, I'm still going to work during the day, but luckily I'm blessed to be able to work for the second job to work at home, which is nice. So it's like a 3-minute commute from my desk to my couch, which is fantastic. At the end of the night, I'm loving it. I'm going to hate going back. I know that for a fact.
Did it ever take you 3 minutes to get from upstairs to downstairs to a couch?
It might
He threw himself down the steps.
No, never. Okay.
At my biggest, it was 2.5. But you know, Neen got a place on the couch. So his feet be dangling off the side.
They are dangling right now. I have a new dining room table, and they're dangling right now. I'm telling you right now. And I'm not bullshitting, dude. I'm touching with my toes. So as you can see, it's the COVID-19 era. Hopefully everybody is okay. Hope everybody's safe. The main thing I could tell everybody is to make sure you are staying inside. Make sure you are abiding to these quarantines because we want this to be done as quickly as possible. But as you can see, it affects everything. It's affecting our work lives as we are in our outside lives outside of here. But it's affecting professional wrestling. And I mean, that was a given in a sense.
God, is it ever?
You know, in some cases, really affecting wrestling. NWA not putting on shows. They had to postpone indefinitely the Crockett Cup. Okay. Something that we were looking forward to. They were getting some momentum with their YouTube shows for NWA Power. And then all of a sudden, boom, it had to go off. Now they're showing stuff in between. They have pre-tape stuff, that type of thing. But people were really getting into Power. And now they're like, oh, now I don't have any, you know, and
well, Dan, let me stop you there because the NWA being a newer brand, you know, they've been since October, I believe, and they were in their second season on YouTube. Yeah. And you've already seen that when they can't produce new original content, they're struggling to find something to put on the airwaves. And I hope that you want to lead off with one of the biggest stories is the fact that AEW is probably one of my favorite brands of wrestling right now. Mm-hmm. And they're still doing a live show, albeit with an empty arena. But how longer can they go doing this before Florida says you can't record here? And maybe that isn't an option for them to do anymore. They can't They don't have a vast library that they can go to.
It's funny. It's funny you bring this up because on this week's episode of Breakout with my man Rusty Rowdy, Rowdy Rusty, I should say, there is a scenario where he brings it up where they are, from what I understand, they're going to be on a specific arena. I do forget the name of the arena that he said, but apparently it's owned by the Cons.
Well, that's where they've been at in Jacksonville.
Yes,
place.
Yeah. But
right,
they're abiding by their contract. It's their TNT contract.
Could say you can't do it.
Potentially, he could. He definitely could. Right. I mean, up until then, they're contracted by TNT.
Yeah.
Until 23 or 22, something like
they
that.
Extended it. Yeah.
Yeah. So the scenario being that they're just saying, hey, you know what? We're going to put it out. TNT, we're going to cover our contract. We're going to be good employees in a sense. And wrestling fans will love it.
As long as you cover, they have to pay. But
Yeah.
what I've noticed, and Mark, let me see if you notice. You notice they've been putting on a lot more veterans because the veterans know how to do it without a crowd.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Some of these guys are horrible without a crowd feeding them. Like if you were in the Indies, we've been in a crowd in front of 25 people or 10 people or whatever.
Yeah.
Some of these young boys, man, they're lost. They have no clue.
Right.
Because we were always taught the way you practice is how you wrestle.
Yeah.
But some of these guys are like horrible. I'm like, they have no crowd guidance.
That's a good thing about what AEW is doing versus, like, I guess the other example would be WWE, is that they're putting their roster, whoever's there, in the audience and giving them somebody.
That was 1 week. This past week, they obliged by the social distancing. That was only 1 week.
So does WWE have the roster in the audience now?
No.
And forgive me because I did not watch this week's AEW. Was there nobody in the
crowd?
Empty roster, anybody? Because I know even it was even JR and Excalibur apparently weren't there.
Right.
It was
and this past week it was Shivani and Cody Rhodes doing announcing.
Okay. And was Kenny Omega on that as well, or something? A little bit.
I'd like to forget that, but yes, he was.
Yeah, was he that bad?
He's not good.
Yeah. Okay. He's got to be better to. Yeah.
True.
I don't want to bust on I don't want to bust on Excalibur because I think he's actually very good.
Oh, I like it.
You really like him a lot, but he's like the whipping boy of that team. It's a sin, but he really is when you think about it. Because it's a sin to say like I like him, but I would love for them to put Taz up in his place.
See, I disagree. I think JR is the whipping boy of that broadcast. JR,
I don't think he gives a shit.
I love JR. He has a great history in wrestling, but he's not catching on. Shivani has adapted. Shivani's done a great job.
JR has it.
And Taz is phenomenal. And it's phenomenal, but JR is the odd man out.
See,
right.
JR can't adapt because everything was so scripted for him at one point.
Right.
These guys are doing it on the fly, and he can't. Shivani called on. Taz can in a heartbeat. Taz can do that in a minute. But yeah, you're right. When I was watching, I was like, oh damn. I think Danny J could do better, and that's bad.
That's not saying something, Dan.
Let me tell you something. I'll fly there tomorrow if they're gonna put me on. I'll fly down tomorrow. You better believe it. Now. It's a unique thing because, like you said, we are as a fan having to see something different as well. Obviously, they're working differently. It is hard, and all you know are thousands and thousands of fans, and now you're looking at an empty arena. But now we are seeing a product where we're not distracted by the crowd at home.
Okay. Yeah, but also, see, a lot of these guys, it's horrible to say they feed off the crowd. Okay.
Yes,
they do.
But if you can't go in there and work without anyone, that shows you how training is not the same. I mean, they're lost.
Ideally, they would have to perform much like Dean Malenko.
Yeah.
I think honestly, he's the best example of that. Is if everybody performed like Dean Malenko, we would have some serious matches.
You would have some great matches.
with no crowd reaction at all. You wouldn't need it.
Because the other day on WWE, and I turned it on for like, I have to admit, it's only like 20 minutes, and they had was Otis. He was completely lost without a crowd. He couldn't do his little body shake and whatever. But that I have to blame that on the trainers. You blame that on the trainers. That's all the trainers. That has nothing to do. These guys haven't been in the indies, like I said, in the gymnasium when there's 20 people.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Did you cry? When there's 20 people or 10 people, you know what I mean? And you just kind of got to do what you got to do. They can't do it.
So. I'm going to go in a different direction, guys, because not only are there new fans to react to the wrestlers, but you don't know what storylines are getting over because maybe the impact isn't the same with no people in attendance. You know, we had the Exalted One revealed 2 weeks ago, which should have been which was a huge storyline built up over several months, and nobody was there to applaud for it. And then you had the debut of Matt Hardy, who
has the same episode,
same thing, kind of fell flat with an empty arena. Now, I give all the praise in the world to AEW for continuing the show. That specific show 2 weeks ago was, I think, the best program of AEW ever. From top to bottom, they had 15-minute matches. The action was steady. The angles were great, but nobody was there to see it. So I'm kind of hoping that, you know,
I mean, in the grand scheme, though, I mean, when you think about it, though, you're talking about, what, X amount of thousands of people in the audience versus the millions watching it, or the hundreds of thousands watching at home. Yeah, I mean, we're watching it, but like you're saying, maybe the pop is what we wait for.
Here's
not true. Whoa, not true, Danny. Because if you watched NXT the other night, it was pretty damn good.
Yeah, it was great. Right. NXT was fantastic.
Yeah,
but here's where I was going. Good. Here's where I was going with that. You are AEW is doing live shows. They don't get the reaction because there's no fans in attendance. They kind of have to go on the internet, right? They have to check their Twitter feed. Hey, what did the fans think of this angle? NXT, same thing. WrestleMania, the biggest show of the year, was taped a few days ago. It's going to be 2 nights next week. We don't know the results because obviously it wasn't taped in front of anybody. Nobody's going to spoil the results because they don't want to lose their jobs. But with that said, we don't know what's going to get over. They're going to have to go to Twitter or their YouTube to see what people are commenting to see if they liked it or not. That's a whole different thing.
I think he should have just postponed it, but that's just me.
Well, yeah.
I mean, going 2 nights and then what's the deal? Mark, you would probably know this. What's the deal? Because I know there was a lot of different things where he was now sharing with ESPN, and there was things where there were rumors where WrestleMania was leaving the network and all kinds of stuff.
So ESPN Plus was probably going to be their landing spot. They were going to do similar to what UFC did, where UFC spent like, I think, $650 million to buy the rights for UFC fights. And on top of that, you had to pay a monthly streaming service to ESPN plus the $65 monthly pay-per-view charge. So I think Vince was going to do something like that with ESPN Plus. We don't know. We'll never know now, or at least not now. But I think something like that was going to happen where WrestleMania wasn't going to be free on the network. It was going to be a pay-per-view event. And all the money that he lost from the people flying in, all the independents who do WrestleMania that week lost money. And of course, the network has lost. I mean, this is a horrible thing for wrestling right now.
But you say that, Mark, I understand totally what you're saying, but this little 2 months or 3 months, they have plenty of money. They have plenty of investors.
They do. And here's my hope. My hope is that Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You pretty much just got to roll with the punches right now.
You do. And my hope is
to tighten up your project. I mean,
yes.
That's the bottom line.
Tighten up the guys, tighten up the product
tighter. Yeah.
Yes. And let the people who are hurt and have those lingering injuries, let them heal. Yeah. Yep. Yeah,
you're right.
Not for nothing. This would be a good opportunity for Vince to say, Triple H, go in and I'll oversee it, obviously, like I always do. But Triple H, go in and do this like you do NXT. since this is going to be,
he has a control problem. We all know that.
Yeah,
it's a major control problem.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's so obvious, but I think didn't they take Triple H and bump him down to do something else? I was reading it.
He got demoted, yeah.
I know it's a work. It's probably a work, but still, I was like, whatever, fuck it.
But you know what I mean? That like considering that NXT, let's face it, NXT became the one we have to watch of the three because SmackDown sucks. Raw's been sucking. Apparently, a lot of people.
I mean, if you want to rate them, you got to go NXT, Raw, SmackDown
in that order.
I
yeah.
don't even like the way SmackDown looks on TV. It looks like a cartoon, and I just hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Just so everyone knows.
So it's like Raw and SmackDown, which were the two big boys on the name for the longest time, are now like a sideshow, and NXT, which is adapting to this AEW, for lack of a better term, product, is the one. It's becoming the new Raw in a sense.
This past week they had Shane Thorne and I don't know the guys, Vink. They wrestled the Street Profits on Raw and then wrestled NXT. And those are two guys, they've been around for a while, but they're getting more exposure by wrestling on Raw and NXT. And that's the kind of stuff I'd love to see. If you could put out a 15, 20-minute match, and keep in mind when Raw is in front of an audience, they have 3-4 minute matches. Let them go out there, give us 10, 15, 20 minutes.
There you go.
See the talent that's up there.
But you know what? I don't think, truthfully, like when you think of watching some of the Raw talent for 10 or 15 minutes, no. No.
Well, look, to be fair, the highlights of Raw the last 2 weeks have been Edge and Randy Orton and their promos. They're not even wrestling.
But if you think about it, I mean, and I love him, but Edge, he's limited.
Yes.
His age in general, but that's when you need a crowd. You need that crowd pop for Edge. You need that. See, Randy Orton wouldn't need it, but he does. Mm-hmm. That's where this whole problem comes with no crowd, and we all know it.
Let's jump back to AEW for a second.
That's because that's the only thing you watch. Shut up. We're talking about
No. I watch it now. Because I want to get involved in the conversation.
He wants to join in the conversation, Charles.
My neck was hurting from nodding so much. No, but no. What I was going to say is, because we got off of them real quick, how do you guys feel about the, for lack of a better term, casting of the Exalted One versus Matt Hardy being with the Elite? I think that should have been reversed.
No, it was perfect the way it was. Did you didn't watch this past week's AEW, right?
No, I did not. I did not yet. I gotta watch it.
You know what?
Did you?
I know you're going with this.
He did.
Mark, I know you're going with this.
Let me tell you something, Dan. When you watch it, you're gonna be in for a treat. There was a great vignette where Brody Lee was at a dinner table eating steak, with Alex Reynolds and Silver, and he was awesome on the mic. This is a guy
that never got to talk.
And was awesome when given the chance. And I guarantee you he's going to go out there and become this new hybrid of a monster who can actually speak and is very intelligent.
You know what? If they'd have let him speak in WWE, he'd have moved upon past what they had him doing.
Yeah.
I didn't know he could do it until he did. I was like, oh, damn.
You're right.
Granted too. Brody Lee obviously is a younger guy. They're going to get more out of him than they are out of Matt Hardy. I mean, that's a given because he's got.
Matt Hardy walks like me, dude.
So you ain't going to see much of him anymore. He's going to show up at the pay-per-view like this, and then that's it. He's going, I'm out. And then
he's over. But seriously, though, if he had a crowd, he'd be over with his whole delete thing.
Yeah.
So when that comes about, he'll be fine. But I'm not looking for Matt Hardy to do too much in the ring. I hate to say it. Now, Jeff would have been different.
Jeff can still
Matt
go.
Doesn't have a lot left. He doesn't. You can see,
and that's why I don't think we're going to get about maybe a quarter. And what I mean by like a time quarter of Matt Hardy, and then you're going to see him go. He's not going to be. No, I don't think he's going to be there long.
You think he's going to go, or he's just going to
Yeah, I think he's going to go. Remember, and granted, this is a bad example, but when Ultimate Warrior came to WCW, and we got 13 seconds of Ultimate Warrior there, and then he was out. I think that's what we're going to be in. I mean, obviously a little bit longer because Matt Hardy can go, but like, I think we're only going to get about we're going to finish the storyline out.
Yeah.
I think we'll maybe get Chris Jericho versus Matt Hardy. I think we'll get that because you got to have the two veterans go at it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then because that way Moxley can defend the title against somebody that's
Hager,
Jake
Hager.
Jake Hager as an example.
But I also think Jericho needs to start taking a step back also. Because in some of his
he did his thing.
Not yet.
Some of the matches with the younger dudes are slowing down. He can't keep up. I mean, I love him.
Mm-hmm.
I love him.
I hear you, Charles, and I think you make a great point. Not yet. Maybe another 3 or 4 months. Yes. But not yet.
Can you see him moving into a manager role? I think it would be great at it, but can you see him moving into it?
Dude, he was great on the color. He was doing color commentary this past week.
Yeah.
And he was amazing.
He's good because he can talk. But
yeah,
I see him not as a manager. He might do that whole every now and then with a little stable type thing. He'll get in the ring. But I hate to say it, he's not in shape.
No, not at all. Yeah. Well, my understanding was, and I don't know if he still does this, but my understanding was he stopped doing the gym altogether and he only does the DDP yoga, and that's it.
Well, he needed DDT to step away from the table because he put on some weight, man. You can see it in his mid section. He can't. I love you. I think he's one of the greatest workers ever. But he's at that age. What is he? He's what?
48. No. He's 48. 48 or 49.
You sure?
Yes.
All right, 48 and 49. He's been wrestling, so his body's like 65 now.
Well, yeah.
His body's probably 65, 70 because he's been over 20 years easy.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's I think he's almost at 30 years.
Okay,
wrestling.
see,
I think he's almost at 30 years. Yeah.
There you go.
Because if you watched him on Dark Side of the Ring, because he's interviewed on there, he does mention. I think he goes, "I'm here 30 plus years in this business," you know. So I mean, he's at the point now, and the good thing about him is that he can transition into an audio commentator.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, because his shows are good. When he goes on the mic, he's good. I think the reason I asked that question is because I think he's still too young to be a manager. Does that make sense? Like, in other words, when I see a manager who's about the same age as the guy he's representing, it's like, well, you guys could be a tag team. You know, I'm not seeing the mentorship there because you guys look at like maybe mentoring Sammy Guevara because Guevara looks like he's 15 years old.
Hey, look, man, you need to just tell AEW, call Joey Styles, and we'll be fine.
Joey Styles would be amazing at AEW.
He doesn't want to. He wants nothing to do with wrestling right now.
I know, but I'm just saying. Just call Joey Styles.
That's because he talked to the wrong guy. That's why, man. I would love to hear him in MLW. I think Joey Styles would bring MLW up to a major force.
No, I would love him in AEW. He'd be great. He would be.
Now, talking about MLW now, and once again, this was mentioned on Breakout, the episode 3, but they already have it taped. I think it's MJF versus somebody, and it's going to be like with their version of a loser leave town match. So this will be his last match to get out of the Fed. Yeah, so he can go exclusive with AEW. If you watch MLW, the Dynasty, aside from Gino Medina, who I don't like at all, is really, really good. Gino Medina looks like he shouldn't even be considered a rookie yet. He's so green, and he can't even grow facial hair. And you understand, like you know what I mean? Like I can't.
Did you watch 2 weeks ago? You could tell there was a little missed spot. He was lost.
Yeah,
he got completely lost. He was completely lost. I was like, okay, just somebody like put him in a headlock. And
I mean, Alex Hammerstone is great and really grew as a wrestler.
He's not going to be there much longer.
Who, Hammerstone? You think he's going to go to AEW?
I think
or WWE? NXT? I could see it. And then also Richard Holiday, I think, is great.
I haven't got to watch much more of him, but I think he's going to.
Richard Holiday he doesn't have, I don't think, the heat that MJF gets, but he's very equal to MJF in the sense that, like, as a wrestler, he can work and he can be a very good bad guy. He's a good looking guy. He plays that, like, I have money and I'm better than you type of scenario. His work is really, really well. I like the dynasty because we lost the Hart Foundation, which I was loving the Hart Foundation down in MLW, but with Teddy Hart getting booted due to his illegal scenarios.
He'll be serving some hard time.
Yes. But now Brian Pillman.
We can talk about him real quick. Just real quick.
Yeah.
The biggest idiot in wrestling, the biggest waste of time. Just let him go. He's had more chances than everyone.
He's a liability. Yeah.
He can't keep his whatever his problem is, if it's mental or whatever, or if it's the drugs, whatever.
But isn't
this thing though, Charles? Didn't it seem like he was getting his let together this past year?
He did. I was like, because he's great.
He is great. He really is great. But was this something new, or was this something that was now coming to fruition from the past?
I think it's something new.
Is it something new? I wasn't sure if it was like he got in trouble again, or if now it finally caught up with him and now he's got.
I did a show with him one time. Even the way he acts and talks, if you listen to him, you can tell he's a knucklehead. You know, one of those dudes that just doesn't get it.
Yeah.
In wrestling, you go, you make your money, you do your gimmick, you do whatever, you go home, you try to keep a low profile, and hopefully someone calls you up. And when you're that good as he is, they're going to call you, as long as your ass stays clean.
Yes.
You know, you don't get in any trouble, whatever. But if you're going to be an idiot, they're not going to deal with you because this is bad press. You know, it used to be in wrestling, there's no such thing as bad publicity. You know what I mean? Now there is with Twitter and YouTube and all this dumb shit. So, I mean, when you're that good, he's that good.
He is.
He's outworked, I would say, 80% of the WWE roster. He could probably go with 80% of AEW.
Ariel, I put him on the same level as Christopher Daniels.
You think?
I really do. Like a lot of his more recent MLW work, he does a lot of high flying. It's like unbelievable what he does.
The only thing I don't understand in all wrestling, Mark, please tell me, because you actually watch a lot more than me. I watched the Young Bucks, and I don't know who they pissed off, but they're so damn good, it's just ridiculous.
Well, they're EVPs, and they didn't want to put themselves over. The entire elite didn't want to put themselves over, so they're trying to build up the roster, which is a great move. Now, Nick Jackson's been away for the last few weeks because he's expecting a son or a daughter. I don't know.
They just had it. They just had it, actually. Yeah.
So they took him off TV for a while, so that was understandable. Okay. But Cody making that. Listen, I thought I would have bet my mortgage that Cody was going to be the one that beat Jericho for the title, even though Cody had that stipulation, because that's Wrestling 101. You build up Cody so big that the fans want it so bad. Cody has to be world. Cody is the best face in professional wrestling right now.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But so he almost like knocks himself down the mid card.
And
well, his brother's doing the same thing. If you know,
his brother can go.
He can be. Dustin looks great. Absolutely.
He gets to be Dustin. You know, he gets to be him. None of the gold dust shit. What he just he's over. And the dude, he's 51.
Yes.
All right. I'm like, damn, I'm 51. I'm like, I wish I could move like that.
They felt.
I mean, granted, he's only wrestling once, not all the time, but still,
when they started AEW last year, they really wanted to try hard. And I don't want to say Triple H. I just throwing it out there. They tried really hard not to be the ones that held other people down. So they made it a point to build up the roster and make everybody competitive. And you have jobbers, okay? We'll call them jobbers. But you got guys like Peter Avalon, the librarian. You have people Fabian, Jimmy Havoc,
What about even it never lasted with WWE. Orange Cassidy's the fucking
right.
Oh, he's great.
So you have all these guys that can go.
And he can go. Orange Cassidy can go.
I know,
absolutely. He had a great match at Revolution against Pac.
Yes, he did. He really, really did.
He can go. And Pac looks like a whole different person now.
Right?
I love him.
Yeah.
I love Pac. I just love him.
now the Canadian Destroyer quickly becoming the DDT of now. I think so.
Petey Williams sent out a tweet several weeks ago saying, "I apologize, everyone."
And And it's the truth. I mean, you got Ricky Morton does it on a regular basis now.
Yeah.
Dustin does it on a regular basis now. Some of the women are doing it. I think Tessa Blanchard recently did it went over the rope and did it or something.
But if you
like
notice
that.
with AEW, if you watch AEW, I've noticed something that they're doing that WWF or E still won't do. They don't let them finish like the finishers. You ever notice? It's always they mix it up.
Mhm.
You know when Randy Orton hits his. You know when John Cena his shit. Braun Strowman. All of them. Now, if you watch, it's something different. That's what you need. I've always said that. Remember, Mark? I used to hate when I see Cena do this shit like this. I'm like, okay, good. He's done. They don't do that. That's why, like,
If you listen to the Orange Show, he has said on many different occasions, WWE in general, doesn't matter what show, is overly produced. It's just overly produced.
Yes.
And that's coming from Arn Anderson. I mean, yeah, exactly. But I mean, like that's confirmation from somebody that was there and working, saying it's overly produced. And going back to what we've said on many, many shows here, that we could go through and after 10 minutes of the first 10 minutes, have the whole show card down.
I can tell you the whole show.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's no reason to watch it. And that was the whole point of it. It's like, you've taken this excitement away from me because I don't want to see this, because I kind of see where this is going. AEW, honestly,
NWA, you don't know what's going on here.
No.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump over there for a second. Zicky Dice. How awesome is Zicky Dice?
He's different.
He is
there
amazing.
There you go, Mark. I'll go with that. He's different.
He is amazing. He is the combination of Jimmy Garvin, Jimmy Valiant, Exotic Adrian, Bugsy McGraw,
and Mike Davis from the Rock and Roll RPMs.
There you go, exactly. He was, if there ever was a throwback, it's Zicky Dice. And having him with the TV title, I said perfect. Because I do like Ricky Starks. I do like him as a performer. I think he's trying to be a Rock a little too much.
Who's the other guy there that sounds like Stone Cold, has a little bit of a southern drawl, wears the black vest? There's
Eli Drake?
Yeah, Eli Drake. Eli Drake.
Who's that guy? Who's that guy? Eli Drake?
Yeah, there you go.
Eli Drake is great. And it actually, in NWA, this kind of made a realization for me that, what's the name? You'll be back. You'll be back. There you go. Man, you got dark for a second. Okay. That made me lose my train of thought there. But what I'm saying is that James Storm can now officially be known as a tag team specialist.
Sure. And
go into the realm with Arn Anderson, Bobby Eaton, and there's probably a couple other guys that are literally tag team specialists, because I think James Storm is able to team with a dozen different people and make the team look good. And he's with Eli Drake right now, and they look great together. They really do. So hats off to them. Not for nothing. And Ricky Morton just confirmed that he's suffering from Bell's palsy now. But good for him to sit there and say, to do the jobs that he has, because him and Robert have looked great on TV. I mean, granted, they're in their 60s and they're moving
70s.
about 62 and 63 apiece. But they are I mean, granted, a little slower, but they are the NWA when you think about it. You know what I mean? Having that TV title there and having Zicky Dice on the TV title. What do you think about that? They have that new thing. They make it 6:05, which I think is kind of a cool idea. At first, I was like, I didn't know, but having the time limit be 6 minutes and 5 seconds for the TV title, I think is kind of a cool idea, because it gets you a quick match with high stakes. In a sense, it kind of gives you anxiety.
Listen, it's something completely different. See, like WWE needs to get rid of that 24/7 shit.
Yeah. Well, that's their version of the TV title in a sense, I think.
Yes, but
they make a joke of it. But they make a joke of it.
Well, you know what? They make a joke of it, but R-Truth actually puts that over.
Mm-hmm.
He puts that over. He really does. And what was that kid that the football player? I can't remember his name, but
Riddick Moss or Mojo Rawley?
Yo, Riddick Moss needs to be on the main roster. He has that look. I would give him a manager. I'm surprised that Paul hasn't taken him under his wing. The guy has the look.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got what's that, Gronkowski or something like that coming in?
Be careful what you wish for there, Charles, because Paul E. loves Ricochet, and Ricochet's getting buried. I want to know whose Cheerios he's shot in, because I think that's Vince. It is Vince. It is Vince.
You know what though? Ricochet represents everything that Vince never liked in wrestling.
Yes. He doesn't like he doesn't. We all know that.
And that's why,
it's a damn shame.
Mm-hmm.
He's over.
That's another reason why the WWE loses wrestling fans all the time and keeps the sports entertainment fans. It's because we identified it like, man, this guy should be just like if you go to AEW, Scorpio Sky.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Oh my God, how amazing that kid is. Now, granted,
they gave him the tag team titles. They had him wrestle in Philly with one shoe. That was, they gave him some Dude, Scorpio Sky will be challenging for the AEW title within a year. I guarantee. Well, only fans come back.
For me, and somebody tell me if I'm wrong. The women's champion.
Which one you talking about? Nyla Rose.
Nyla Rose.
Yeah, gotta go.
Why? She's great.
Well, wait a minute. Okay.
She is. She's really good.
Wait a minute. Misses more spots than Dan did. I'm telling you.
Well, I'll have you know.
Nobody missed more spots than Dan did.
In all the matches I had, which were half a dozen, I missed maybe one spot.
Maybe because I was a worker, right? I watch and the spots missing is this. I sit there and like, okay, that was shit. That was shit. That was shit.
With that said, I hear what you're saying, Charles. I will say this. Yeah. The women's division was their weakness for the longest time.
Yeah.
But Chris Statlander,
she's
Penelope
great.
Ford, Riho.
Yeah.
Penelope Ford has really started to impress me in recent weeks.
And it's because she did probably a couple dark matches, but on AEW Dark, but like the girl can go. Rio can go, but the problem with Rio is that she's not believable.
No,
she's at 90 pounds, she's not. She's way too small. And
she's like Marco Stunt.
But she can work. I'll give her that. She can work.
Yeah. And yes, she can. And I think my girl was it Hikaru Shida? Yeah. I love Hikaru Shida. She's the Japanese. Japanese girl. She wears red and white.
Yeah. Yes. And don't forget B. Priestley either. B. Priestley is really
B. Priestley, yeah. I mean, so they do actually have a talented roster. I don't know. Could it be their booking? I think it's their booking.
I think it was their booking for a while. It's really picked up in the last 2 months. It's gotten a lot better. And Tony Khan himself, Tony Khan is a little too hands-on for me, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to jump down his throat like Jim Cornette does. Tony Khan has made it his mission to kind of bring balance to each division, and he really focused on the women's division. Yeah, but he's done a great job.
You can say that, but if you don't know the business, he doesn't know the business. It doesn't matter. He just
that's true.
I don't care how much
now here you go. Now, Charles, did you see Revolution? Yes. I know Mark did. Okay. Mm-hmm. The Revolution was boom, 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 boom. And then we had Statlander versus Nyla Rose. And I practically couldn't go to the bathroom that I was so bored out of my mind. You know what I mean? And I like
the only problem with that match was that they rushed it and there wasn't they weren't clicking. I will give it that. But that was only a 4-minute match, Dan. So it wasn't
it was 4 minutes and Nyla Rose blew up in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. If
you're right.
I know when someone blows up in the ring. Breathing heavy as shit.
You are right.
You've been in the ring. Look, do some cardio. Just don't eat cheeseburgers. I don't care. Whatever you want to consider yourself. Woman,
she looks like she should be in wrestling. She looks like
wrestling shape. You don't need to be in the ring.
She looks like she should make Strombolis. Do you see what I'm getting with that?
Well, wait a minute.
She really does.
Right. She doesn't look right. She's blowing up. She's out of shape. Not in wrestling shape. I'm sorry.
No,
just not in wrestling shape. And if they watch, you would agree, not in wrestling shape. If you are a worker, you can tell when someone's in wrestling shape. some of the biggest guys I knew were huge
Yeah.
people, but they were in wrestling shape.
Yeah,
You know,
you're
I
right.
think when I was at my biggest, I thought I was in wrestling shape. You know, if you had me there for a while, I'll admit it. But you had people like Aaron Gainey, you know, rest his soul. Aaron was 400 pounds, but he can give you 15 minutes. Boom.
Yeah,
But he was
yeah,
in
you're right.
wrestling shape.
You're right.
You know,
I wasn't in
certain
wrestling
people in
shape.
wrestling shape. You know, and Nyla Rose is
No,
not
let
in
me tell you
wrestling shape.
something. Let me tell you something. When I wrestled, these kids, I was wrestling kids 12 years, 13 years younger than me. They would get clothesline, come jump back up. I'd get clothesline. I had to bail out a ring, go to the bar, get a drink of water. I did a thing where I was running around. What's that guy, Charles? Atu? What's his name? Big black dude. Muscular as hell. Atu. He works a lot of stuff in Philly. He does a lot of stuff for Breaker Morant.
Oh, what was his name?
You know what I'm talking about, right?
I
Big
know who
brother.
you're talking about.
Big brother. He's real muscular.
I can't remember his name.
He had to chase me around the ring, right? I got around the first corner. I got around the second corner.
40 minutes in.
By the time I got to the third corner,
Look at Mark.
I said,
I just love how 40 minutes into the show and Dan's talking about his wonderful wrestling career again.
it was during the COVID-19. No. By the third time I got around the corner, I said, this son of a bitch better stop chasing me, because I said, I'm going to collapse right here. I said, I can't do it anymore.
Mark, let's go back to wrestling here. So the next couple of weeks, what are we looking at here, guys? Who do you think is going to rise? I think it's going to be NXT.
No,
well, it depends on what they taped. They taped a lot of shows already. I believe on Monday they're taping the next 2 weeks of programming. So they are obviously already know what happened at WrestleMania. So I think our only hope as fans is that AEW continues to record on Wednesday.
You know what, though? If you look at the ratings, and this includes the ratings of the first show without an audience, the ratings numbers were the same. It was like
similar.
It was around 920 versus 780 or 750.
Okay.
So they were right in that same level, because NXT hovers below 800 and AEW hovers below 1,000 in that sense. Now, it'll be interesting to say now in week 2, you know, based on the booking. Now, booking is going to be very, very key with this, not just the performers, but booking. Is it going to drop now? It would be interesting to see this coming week's ratings and see if they got any closer together, because then that's going to fortify to say.
You have this week's ratings, man. This week's ratings already came out.
Do you have it?
I could pull it up. Go ahead, keep talking. Take me off camera.
Take him off camera. Just stay on camera. I don't really care. Just stay on camera. But I want to know if it's true.
I want to know if it's true, because Mark might know better than me. They said some of the workers for WWE were complaining about the cleanliness.
Yes.
Was that true?
Not only that, but they basically said if anybody doesn't feel comfortable performing, then don't perform. And we already know that Roman Reigns did not perform. Miz did not perform. Daniel Bryan, I believe. Who was not Angel? Not she's the Monday Night Raw tag team titles. It was supposed to be Andrade. Andrade did not compete. So there's a lot of guys that did not wrestle, and including one of the women. One of the women in the title match did not, or the 6-way didn't compete. So like a lot of people are not wrestling at WrestleMania.
But this is the thing. Is he going to punish them for that? Absolutely, because that's the type of asshole he is.
He better not. I mean, he better not if he knows. Because guess what? There's an alternative to go to now.
Yeah, you got a point.
Yeah.
Okay, so this past week, NXT did 669,000 viewers, which is down.
Yeah.
And AEW also did down, but they did 819,000. So they won the week. They had a better rating. But again, most people, I'm watching the news. I'm watching Trump speeches.
It's about 100,000. It's
about
watching
the speeches. That's a work too, but go ahead.
Yeah. It's about 100,000 though.
I hate to say this, Charles, I am anti-Trump, but he's very entertaining. If you can sit back and watch, he cracks me up at least 10 times a speech.
I'm gonna have to agree with you.
Well, folks, we're in the COVID-19 era, as we're dubbing it right here on the show. Make sure that if anybody says it outside, it started here. I'm not going through the trouble of copywriting it, but you know.
Well, I'm sorry, my other podcast kind of beats it to the punch. We did the COVID crush, the COVID, yeah. So,
but you didn't do the COVID-19 era, so I don't want to hear any crap.
Didn't do the era, so you can have that.
You can catch Mark moonlighting on some other show.
The Entrance Ramp podcast.
That's right.
We have to do once a week updates to keep everyone informed.
We really do. We can do it here. We'll bring it out to you.
With everyone being busy and this and that, but we need to keep our fans.
But special thanks to guys like Charles, who actually, in this particular scenario, guys like you are actually working double time, and you're doing a lot of stuff that is trying to keep everybody else safe. So, thanks to you and guys like you. Yeah, thanks to guys like you and other township employees. Mark stays at home, and that's what keeps everybody safe. I
stay at home at least. Well, we shift at work. I am essential staff as well. But fortunately for me, I am one of 3 that we have alternated schedules. So only one of us is in, and we alternate. So
that's good. That's good.
We're all doing our part.
Yep.
We ask all our fans to be safe.
Yes, we do.
And just stay tuned, because that's what makes it fun.
It really, really does. So, guys,
except for when Dan talks about his wrestling career.
Everybody waits for that. They do. And MFer.
That part of a Benny Hill show that just has to chase.
No, our buddy Bill Duke down here in the bottom screen. He is the one that brought up my wrestling career in this episode. I wasn't about to talk about me. Just keep that in mind.
I had to, because every time I need that quick laugh, that's what I talk about. So.
He does. I'll tell you something. Anyway, hit that subscribe button down below. Hit the notification bar. Leave us some comments. Let us know what you've been thinking about these events without any audience. Let us know what you think about WrestleMania. Should WrestleMania just simply be postponed, or should it go through the way it is right now? And would it be worth it to you to watch it? That's the big thing. Would it be worth it to watch it?
Why don't we tell our fans now? Next Monday, look for a live feed here after WrestleMania. Yes. We'll give our opinion of it.
We really will. Yeah. We really will. Now, it's covered over 2 days. Whether or not I'll watch any of it, I have no idea. I'll be honest with you. I'm probably going to rely on Mark. I'm going to call Mark. Mark, what happened? Who showed up? You have
internet. You can read the results.
That's exactly what I'm doing. I'll read the dirt sheets and just be like, all right, that's good enough for me.
Or go on YouTube and watch the matches. It goes by faster. It does.
It really does.
So much faster. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And once again, there's a lot that we can talk about. There's a lot that's coming up, and it is affecting wrestling a lot. So fans, let us know. Share the episode, share the channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We're going to have a lot of stuff out here. Make sure you're checking out Breakout, which is out right now. It's this
Rusty.
My man, get rowdy with Rusty. He's on there now. He's going to have a lot of different stuff for you. He works so hard too, by the way. We're going to have him on this show too. He's a great guy. And until next time, for my man, Mad Mark Lindsay, for Charles Gemini Gregory, my name is Danny J. We will see you at the matches. Goodbye, everybody.
Produced by DJD Productions. Go to www.thatwrestlingshow.com.